Hey, Welsh Dragon Metals here. Today I'm going to be setting some precious gemstones inside of those tin rings I've made recently. These have been Dremel worked with diamond bits. So very clean setting there, as you can see, for that ring. And there's another one there in the packet with the Peridot to go in that. And this one's going to be having a Topaz gemstone, a blue one. We'll be using solvent type glue for this. Not too recommended, as it can create frosting, but it does the job quite nicely if you use very small amounts at least. Some construction sounds in the background. It's a dude building a shed. Cool. Everyone's doing stuff, it seems. So, standard glue. Be very careful with this, as that's why we'll be using this to apply the glue needed. I just need just over a drop in there. Any more than that, it will create an undue amount of frosting on the gem, which I do not want. Very careful application inside of there, as you can see. Okay. Get this gem. Very nice little tiny thing. Ooh, and it's going over there. Good thing I cleaned this area previously. Wow, this is very... Wow, that's wind. Nasty. I'm glad I'm not outside today. Bits of fluff and stuff there. Not really desirable. Carefully press that in. Make sure it's nice and even. Don't want to push it too hard, as it's actually probably more fragile than this tin ring. It's actually quite a beefy ring, as you can see. Okay, that's in there nicely. Still nicely reflective. It's just Jeweler's Rouge polishing cloth. Ooh, that's in there, lovely. Ooh, now you got some fluff stuck in there. Be careful with that. A tiny bit of fluff stuck on that of the Jeweler's Rouge. Get that off there. There we go. So have a little look at that. Sort of hard to see in this sort of brightness. Take that off there and have a look with a magnifier. Haven't done that in a while. Yep, it's quite nicely set. Observe. Those diamond Dremel bits really do their job well. Didn't include that part, obviously. Partly because I have a headache from it from yesterday. So, that's the reason. And now there's a guy drilling his shed not far from my head, so unavoidable it seems. There's the ring, the lovely gem. I will be making more of these. I'll probably sell a few plain textured ones with and without gems. I'm going to be leaving these unsoldered, as it actually leaves a bit of give, as tin rings are quite soft, which makes them quite good for, you know, variable size fingers. So slightly different selling angle on my sort of rings, I suppose. Next here, the plain one. Very shiny, pretty thing. Put that in the foamies. Felt material. Just tight enough. Don't want it wobbling while I put the gem in. Beautiful green peridot for this one. So I'll have a topaz gemstone and a peridot one. Very pretty. Don't think I'll need any more of that glue. No, this is still very wet. Very carefully have to apply it, as you've seen earlier. Which is why I'm using this section of cut-off stick. It's just a bit of bamboo stick. Even coverage. No spillage. Always a good thing. Carefully pick that up. Right. It's in place. Push that down now with the cloth. Last time I used my hand, I should have used the cloth. Get a softer squish effect. No glue on me this time. Hooray! I hate getting glue on me. Oh, nearly got glue in my hair there. Move that out of the way. That would be unfortunate. Same with the fluff. Got some fluff there. So off this thing. But it does polish the stones quite nicely, at least. Well, that's ultra level from the sideways angle. Slight imperfections on these peridots that I have. I suppose that makes them more unique though. Some inclusions. There's a slight chip on the side of this one. It's still very beautiful. Let's have a look. A slight gap under the bottom there, isn't there? Yeah. But it's still very secure. It's not going anywhere. Fair enough. Well, that's okay then. That little bit of a wipe. Sort of a soft setting. Bit of fluff there, you can see that. That's the fluff that I'm on about. But that can be buffed out, which I will be doing. Ooh, very difficult to get the angle. Perfect on that side. The other side has a very slight gap. I think that's from where I dremeled it a little bit too deep on one angle. But this is one of my first. This is my first one, and the other one's this one. It'll be the second stone that I've ever set in, so in these rings at least. But these are scratch made rings. You've seen me pour them and shape them and work them with file, and now I'm setting stones in to some of them. So probably do these stones a little bit deeper in next time. maybe not, as it does let some extra light in, as you can see. Makes them very reflective. So, let's move that aside. I can manipulate these tools. Put the vice aside. No longer necessary. They're very, very pretty pieces, them. We agree. Sort of like this textured one a bit more. More of a manly sort of ring, I guess. Whereas this one's looks sort of like more of a magic ring, if anything. Very pretty. Peridots, I mean, one of the stones that were supposedly used on that machine that controlled the Ark of the Covenant. So that Doomsday button gem then. Interesting fact. Anyone that's seen Indiana Jones? And there's the completed rings. Very, very pretty. I will take more images of these and post them on my Instagram and Twitter. Till next time.